the show sound better and different, you know, do as much as I possibly could as one single solitary person. Because you have Preston, who is, you know, the driver of the show and does a phenomenal job at that, and then you have Steve, who's that wild card. And a lot of times when I listened to morning radio prior to being in morning radio, I noticed how structured it was, and to me that sounded very boring and scripted almost. So, you know, I started right off the bat, you know, chiming in off mic, you know, not right on mic, you know, just kind of like a hoot or a holler here, or a hoot or a holler there. And, you know, I think it still, to this day, annoys some people, you know, annoys some listeners. You know, I try not to read too much, but, you know, I hear people telling me to shut up. But if I'm not doing that, you know, Preston tells me, you know, you need to keep doing it.
We just have an interesting dynamic amongst the group of people, and we really just kind of, whatever is entertaining to us, we just kind of, it's like we're sitting around just having a good time. When we get off the air, a lot of, if we happen to all be in the same room together in our office over here, you hear a lot of what sounds like the show as we just sit around and you know, talk about things. And Steve, you know, just starts making jokes about this and that, and that leads to one conversation and then another one, then Casey starts talking about something, and sometimes we'll have to consciously go, okay, wait a minute, everybody shut up, this is really good, let's talk about this on the radio tomorrow.
We've been lucky enough to build relationships with people like Regis, Philbin with Rob McElhenney of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and then as a result, you make friends with somebody like Rob, you can kind of become sort of friends with somebody like Danny DeVito, or you know, you make friends with Regis, or you do a good interview with Regis, that gets you Kelly Ripa on the show the next year. So it's sort of a ripple effect, but I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we do take a lot of pride in being professional about it and conducting good interviews, and we're very pop culture savvy. I wouldn't call us all extremely intelligent. In fact, we'll ramble on for hours about stuff that we have no idea what we're talking about. But we do know a lot about pop culture, and I think that gets reflected in the show. The shows that we do and the interviews that we do.
Well, with pop culture, we base a ton of what we do on movies and radio, and even radio, and you know, the internet has been huge for us. You know, the explosion of YouTube and online videos, and the accessibility of audio. And I mean, when we first started out, if someone had made a flub on air or something, or you know, a newscaster had screwed up, maybe a week and a half later, 2 weeks, maybe, possibly, it would start to move around a little bit, you know, and now something happens, or did you see this thing last night? It aired right after, you know, Dancing with the Stars, and it was, you know, oh, no, well, we can have the audio and the video up in minutes.
We make connections all the time, and you know, keep our contacts, and, you know, with Regis, it just kind of built throughout the years, you know, that we've had him on now for a couple of years, and yeah, it certainly helps when Regis and Kelly are mentioning, you know, a charity event we're doing on their show. You know, hopefully that draws some more people to the event that we're doing, and then you have the local news stations that'll cover some of the stuff that we do, and you know, newspapers that'll write about you know, events that we have, or stunts that we do in the studio or outside the studio, and you know, every bit helps, sure.
I think it's really important to just let each and every listener know that they are wanted and respected and all that, because without a listener we don't have a show, and we've been around for 10 years, so you know, we need to, a lot of times they thank us, but the real thanks goes to them. Without them, there is no us.
I think that we relate to our audience by meeting our audience as much as humanly possible, and I learned that through Pierre Robert, who's the midday DJ here at MMR, has been for 25 or more years, and I worked for him for 3 years, and one of the things that I learned was Pierre's amazing at just saying hi to everybody that he possibly can, and just going out and shaking as many hands, and you build friendships that way, and people remember that.
I think what we do every day is, you know, we attract listeners, and that's why we do what we do. So I don't know if you can necessarily call it traditional broadcasting anymore, because you know, we're doing very well in the ratings, and that's the reason why.
I think a lot of times shows have difficulty relating to their audience because they don't live the way their audience does, and we do. You know, I love all pop culture stuff. I love all the crap. I love all the cruddy TV shows and bad movies, and you know, I love all that stuff. So I love video games. You know, I mean, I live what I think a lot of people
Things like the Camp Out for Hunger, great opportunity to get out and see who's listening to the show, find out what type of person they are, what they do in their day-to-day lives, give us an idea of maybe some things that might be interesting to them, that they might have personal experiences with.
The strength of the Camp Out is on the individual donation and the fact that we apparently matched last year's without one company that brought somewhere in the order of 50 tons of food last year, 50, 60 tons of food.
Seeing that many people going across the parking lot to Giant, bringing whatever food they had in their cupboards, and cabinets to the Camp Out, all those individual donations was huge. And we did have some really generous corporate sponsors step up this year. So the ones that we lost, we missed their donations, certainly. But Save a Lot food stores brought us a ton of food, and Subaru and several others really did a really good job of picking up the slack. And where they didn't pick up the slack, the individual donations did. So that was awesome.
For 1 week, it's not a lot to do. For the end result being that people have an infinitely worse off benefit from it, and you also are humbled by the fact that people are that generous, or that kind.
We are at the Plymouth Meeting Metroplex. So many cool moments that come along in this kind of a thing. One of which was earlier today, if you've been listening throughout the day, a guy came by and it took him 4 rides on SEPTA to get here. And he came from so far away, and he was so committed to getting here, he didn't have a car. One of our staff drove him home, in fact. I think Lisa drove him home.
I always tell people this, we never take it for granted. We are very lucky. We get to do, my job is what I love to do. I get paid to make people laugh on the radio, and it's what I love to do. So it's not, it is work. There's no question about that. It's not like the Camp Out is, you do your show and then you basically do a 10-hour appearance after every show, but if people are going to come down and drop off food and do that, then you damn well are going to be there to say thank you, So there's some things that we hold ourselves to a higher standard because we want to, we never want to just roll over and say, well, we can't stand other or entertainers that we've met or other shows where there's a sense of entitlement, like you don't have to earn it. You do. You have to justify loving why you get to do what you love to do and get paid for it. So you have to always work for it.
I won't lie to you. I want to have as many people listen as possible. And, for even when I was working at Y100, I remember my program director, Jim, asking me, like each year, he'd kind of sit all of us down and say, okay, so what do you want to achieve, personally out of working in radio? And I said the same thing year after year. I was like, I want to be like Pierre Robert. I would like everybody to know, who I am, and I'd like to be a fixture, a part of the culture of Philadelphia. Yeah, it's a flattering thing. It's a really cool thing, and it's. I guess mainly it lets you know that you're doing the right thing. You made a good decision. People find you entertaining. I've always wanted to be an entertainer, and if a lot of people like you, then you're doing the right thing.